At first glance, this backyard in suburban Raleigh looks similar to the other lots in the neighborhood. But take a closer look and you'll discover that nestled next to the shed lies the home of the family's flock.
This is where we keep our chickens. And they're out in this corner because it's sort of the furthest away from all of our neighbors. So we have 5 mature hens, and we have 5-week-old chicks on this side.
I'm going to have to try to get a lot of hunker down.
All across North Carolina, people are flocking to the idea of raising chickens in their backyard. Some do it for the eggs, while others are interested in reconnecting with nature. Most, like Kristen Reberg Horton, are strictly interested in raising hens as opposed to roosters for obvious reasons.
I am super sensitive to noise, and there's no way I could live with a rooster in my backyard.
And it may come as a surprise to some, but hens can lay eggs without the help of their male counterparts. Each hen will lay about an egg a day for the first few years of her life, depending on the season.
I heard you singing a while ago. Did you lay us an egg, girl?
The key to raising healthy chicks is proper planning, especially when you are designing your first coop.
Chick, 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 chick.
People have this conception that a chicken coop is designed to keep chickens in. It needs to be designed to keep everything else out.
Most coops cost between $50 and $300, depending on how much material you salvage.
Come on.
Designing and constructing your first coop can feel like an overwhelming experience, but it doesn't have to be.
Chick, 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 chick.
Dave Bissett has been raising chickens since he was a child, and now sells his design plans to customers around the world.
Well, the inspiration from this design came from a European design that's actually several hundred years old, so I can't take credit for it. However, what I can take credit for is updating the design to take advantage of off-the-shelf lumber from a big box retailer.
His design accommodates up to 6 medium-sized hens and allows the birds to express normal chicken behavior.
You'll notice that the bottom of the coop is open to the ground, which allows the chickens to forage on the ground as they naturally would in the wild. In the event that you want to do like I do and you want to free-range your birds, you could build a run extension off the end of it.
With the design firmly in place, you're ready to start populating your coop. These days, it's easier than ever to obtain chicks. You can even order them online and have them delivered directly to your post office. You can also visit a local agricultural supply store in the early spring and pick some up for about $3 each.
This house is more typical.
Bob Davis and his wife Judy help organize Raleigh's Henside the Beltline Tour to Coop. The annual event raises awareness for backyard chickens and promotes responsible behavior for chicken owners.
I want people to realize that when they get chickens, there is a certain level of commitment. A lot of people have the misconception that chickens don't live very long, but it's not uncommon for them to live 8 or 10 years or more. It's a little more comparable to cats and dogs.
Considering how long the chickens can live, the amount of work required to maintain the flock is relatively light.
One of the myths is that maybe chickens are hard to keep. People may think that, and they're not.
Your water.
If you plan your housing so that they're conducive toward the kind of maintenance that you're going to have to do, it can be quite easy.
Kristen's coop was designed for comfort for her hens as well as convenience for cleaning.
So the first coop I designed, I had to bend over every time I needed to muck it out, and I didn't want to do that again. So I created these big clean-out doors that I can just pull open, and when it's time to clean out the inside, I can pull my wheelbarrow up and just scrape everything out.
Kristen estimates she spends a half hour each week cleaning and restocking her coop. And each month she spends about $30 for feed, straw, and pine shavings.
You'd be surprised how easy it is. The only thing that you have to do every day is check for eggs. You need to do that just because you don't want your hens to start eating the eggs. In terms of the food and water, if you have big feeders like we have, the food probably only needs to be replaced once a week. And the water, now that we have this great big new water, it's about every 4 days.
Not all townships and municipalities allow chickens within city limits. Some residents believe the odor and noise will devalue their property and quality of life. Bob says that may be the case with large chicken farms, but not small backyard flocks.
The thing that people are worried about is filth. Animals kept under filthy conditions will produce an odor from that filth. And people that have pet chickens or backyard chickens don't keep them under those conditions. Every now and then you'll hear a hen cackle. A normal conversation can go about 50 decibels. A hen's capable of cackling up to about 60 decibels. and a dog easily tops 100 decibels. So the noise is really not an issue.
Bob built his first coop to fit underneath his back deck so his neighbors would not have to look at it. He and Judy have since moved further away from downtown Raleigh, but they still preach the importance of being good neighbors.
Eggs make great goodwill gifts.
That's right, passing them over the fence. And we're very blessed in Raleigh that we can make good choices and to be good neighbors, and we're not limited in the number of hens that we can have, and we're not limited in where they can be placed, and that's wonderful. I give it to Bob.
For Bob and Judy, raising chickens is its own reward. Judy doesn't even eat eggs. They love their chickens for the great pets they are and for the rich compost they provide. But for others, the egg is a much appreciated benefit. All the chicken owners we spoke to raved about the richness of their eggs. Their deep orange and yellow color, the firmness of the yolk, and the thickness of the egg white. And although Kristen initially began raising hens for their egg value, she has quickly learned to embrace them as pets.
It's kind of like having goldfish. I mean, we're happy to have the eggs. Then after living with them, they're beautiful and they make great sounds. I love mine because they just do their thing. They're good at being chickens.